as always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Well, I had to go with Matt Fitzpatrick winning the U.S. Open and doing it under pressure there, hitting the bunker on the 18th with the one-stroke lead and hit just a beauty out of that bunker to go in and get the win. It was an interesting tournament. I didn't pay much attention to it throughout Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and just kind of watched the leaderboard a bit from afar and saw some of it today and saw the end of it, and pretty impressive stuff. That's tough. Will Zalatoris was really good. Scotty Scheffler played really well. They were making it tough on Fitzpatrick, but pulling that out on a tough course with pressure, pretty impressive.
His first PGA Tour victory. Not a bad first one.
Not bad. And he's one of I think 13 to win the amateur US Open and the US Open. So that's pretty cool.
He's had a lot of success. I remember reading he's had a lot of success on the European Tour. Like he's won like 7 or 8 times on the European Tour. He's 27 years old. Like he's been really, really solid, but that shot out of the bunker. I mean, after we watched, what was it, Pereira fall apart on the 18th hole of the PGA Championship there at Southern Hills, like when he yanked it left into that bunker, because the best part is like all he has to do is not hit it in the bunker on the left, and it just like right in the middle of it. And that was an incredible shot. Like anyone that golfs knows to catch it that clean out of a bunker and just stop it dead on the green, like right in the middle of the green, 2-putt to win a major, your first win on the PGA Tour. Like what an incredible, I mean, to do that after you drove it, like the one place you knew you couldn't drive it, that's what was so impressive to me. It's like you called it pressure. It was just like his ability to bounce back in that moment. That was huge. And man, Zalatoris's putt. Oh, I thought it was going in. Just watching it on TV, I thought it was going to be right in the middle.
He's going to pull one off before long. He's playing some really good golf right now. But I thought it was. This is kind of funny. I was reading the article, just kind of the wrap-up article for the U.S. Open, and I thought this line from ESPN was interesting. The payoff was $3.15 million and a title that money can't buy. Major champion.
That's pretty good.
Little shot across the bow there of the LIV players, I think. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, and the old Live Golf guys did not have a good weekend. Or no. Some of them did. A lot of them didn't make it to the weekend. So it was, it was. I was kind of glad that storyline had essentially disappeared, because a lot of those guys, Phil Mickelson was awful. Like a lot of those guys didn't even make the cut. So that it really wasn't a topic on Saturday and Sunday, or at least I don't remember hearing much about it. So we actually got to just talk about what was going on the course, which was nice.
Yeah, I was last week. I think we talked about it. I was kind of hoping for a Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy final pairing. That would have been pretty dramatic. Or if they had to play an extra round Monday together, just the two of them, that would have been awesome. But yeah, good tournament. Nice win by Fitzpatrick. Takes home 3.15. Not bad at all.
That'll work. And you're right. Zalatoris, he's going to win one, because remember, he just lost in the playoff at the PGA.
Yeah.
So he's close. If he doesn't have to be a great putter, but if he can just get a little better with the old flat stick, I mean, he is, when it comes to ball striking, I mean, it's really fun to watch him, but he's He's extremely close. Extremely close. But yeah, I thought that the drama, the way that finished there on 18, that was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it was crazy. And that was a really, really tough course. As you can see, only 3, 6, 9 guys finished under par. So to finish 6 under and not have one over par round throughout the week, that's dadgum impressive from Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. All right, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
I didn't really know how to frame this, like who the actual loser is, but it's really pissing me off. Whoever these guys in the NFL are that are calling the union to narc on their teams for having practices that are too physical, and they end up having to lose OTA practices or minicamp practices over it. That pisses me off so bad. And Rivera, Washington football team, I guess they're the Commanders now. That's going to take a while to get used to, but they're going to have to give up practices next year. He had like $100,000 fine. Dallas Cowboys, same thing. McCarthy gets a fine. And it's just, I don't understand, man. It's one of my big problems with professional football now and whenever I played. It's very loosely, at least at some places, about winning. The rest of it is how can I do as little as possible and make as much money as possible?
I can guarantee you that it is not the undrafted guys making those phone calls. Right? It is those are top dollar guys saying, "Hey, I don't want to do this." A guy like me, and I would tell people, it's like, "Hey man, I'm undrafted. I have to practice hard. Like, I'm sorry. I wasn't sorry, but it was like, listen, I have to practice hard. You may not have to, man. Maybe you're on your second contract and you're a highly paid guy. That's not me. I got to go hard. So don't tell me to chill. Because I'm not going to. I can't."
Right.
And maybe maybe something happened to these practices. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, I guess at Washington there was a couple of big collisions, but some of that stuff's going to happen, man. You can't take all of the collisions out of it. This is my problem. This has been my problem with college football as well. You can't continue to do less and less and less and less and less and expect to have the same result. You just can't. And I can't imagine how frustrating it's got to be as a coach to, it's not like they're out there in full pads doing the Oklahoma drill. There's just guys that are competing and going hard, and, you got to be smart. I understand that, but my goodness, it's ridiculous that players, instead of going to coach and say, "Coach, man, hey, we got to slow this down a little bit. There's some of the vets are getting upset." Instead of that, you go straight to the players union and cost your coach $100K. I mean, come on, man. It's ridiculous.
I wonder what the investigation is like.
They have to turn over film, and it has something to do with there's got to be a certain amount of contact that it's usually like on the line of scrimmage, but if there's plays like downfield that turn into collisions where there's not you can, I guess if it continues to happen on film, this is whenever they do it, when they can tell there's not like a concerted effort by the coaching staff to slow things down.
I'm sure that makes a lot of coaching staffs really happy. Guys from the Players Association going through all of their practice film.
Oh, I know. It's like, oh my God, what else is in there? But yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Yeah. But it happened whenever I played for the Lions. And I remember thinking, like, what the hell are we doing? It's a helmet and shorts practice. Yeah, guys are like banging and they're going at it pretty hard on the offensive and defensive line, but what are we doing here, guys? Do you want to actually win, or is like that's the thing that loser ass teams do, is try and ask to do less. So frustrating.
That you mentioned it is the Commanders and the Cowboys. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh man,
they've been losing a lot recently. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all, whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone. Everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total of more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank with First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information.
And if you are a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you're doing. Head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage Single Malt Whiskey. It was just voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn Whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That's the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones Pot Still Bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year round. Remember, in 2012, Balcones Single Malt won the Best in Glass competition, beating brands like Johnny Walker and Macallan, and became the first American distillery to win that competition. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, then Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners, yeah, they're from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com. All right, for my winner of the weekend, thought about going with people that want transfer portal windows because, yes, the NCAA Transformation Committee. What a committee name, by the way.
Love that.
Transformation Committee has officially recommended the implementation of transfer windows. Now, they didn't mention how many windows, where they want those windows to be, what it would look like, but still, they recommended that they exist. Now, it seems likely to have a window for people to enter the portal after the regular season and then after spring practice, but the old Transformation Committee didn't get that specific, Ted, but this is a step in the direction of getting those windows established, which we've heard, tons of coaches talk about. And it seems like this is headed to those windows being established very, very soon.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is I think it's going to help. I think it's going to help a little bit with putting together your roster and knowing what you need to go after in recruiting or in the transfer portal yourself. I think it may also, and I could be wrong on this, but I think it may also change how likely some guys are to transfer. If something happens and you're reactionary and your first instinct is, I'm just going to go in the transfer portal. I'm done. And then you go and make that move. But maybe if it's not within a window, things can slow down. You can have a little bit of time to regroup, rethink things, have maybe a conversation with your position coach or whatever, and maybe rethink it and hang around instead of just really quickly diving into the transfer portal and making that type of a quick decision.
Yeah. And I haven't heard many stories like this, but if you think, like, say a guy loses his starting job during the season And some guys in that situation, they may jump into the portal, right? But with that really not being beneficial to them, if it's not in that window, then maybe they stick around. Maybe they earn their job back. Hey, maybe a guy goes down with an injury. I haven't heard many stories like that, but that's something that should be considered. Or even like, hey, the first couple weeks in spring ball, like you're not feeling like things are going well. Well, instead of if that window's not open yet, then maybe it makes you push through some of those things. I don't know, but it seems like every coach wants this to happen, and it makes a lot of sense. So I'm not surprised to see this recommendation come out, and I definitely expect it to be established soon, right? It's got to be in the very near future.
Yeah, I would
probably next year.
Well, I guess. Honestly, I don't know. My guess is if the committee has recommended the implementation of the transfer window, my guess is you make it happen pretty quick. I don't know.
I would not be surprised if that window, like that first window, is in mid to late November of 2022, right? Like after this season. Wouldn't that be the first window? Like between the end of the regular season and they call it early signing day, but it's really signing day now, which is in December. Like I would think that would be that first window with this recommendation being made. I
think the window should be, well, I don't know, man. It should be opened and closed before the end of the signing day, which is early February, right? The second signing day.
Yes, February.
Right. It should be open and closed by then. Right. You don't want to like go out, sign your class, and as you sign your class, 2 weeks later have, 2 defensive backs and an offensive lineman hit the transfer portal that you thought were going to be there. But I don't know. Maybe that doesn't matter. Heck, I don't know. I'm sure that they have a pretty good idea of when it's best for the teams to be able to keep their roster with the numbers that they need. But I don't know what those dates are.
Yeah, we'll see what that looks like, but it's happening. It's definitely happening. But my winner of the weekend, Ted, I'm going to give you a guess. Who do you think won the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix?
Well, my first guess is that Leclerc's car died somewhere on the final lap whenever he was leading, and Verstappen took advantage and won the race. And while all that was taking place, Lewis Hamilton was porpoising somewhere. I don't know.
Okay. You know what? Not Leclerc's power unit issues all in qualifying. He actually drove. So he starts way back in the field, right? He actually drove a pretty damn good race, and I think he finished 5th, if I remember correctly. Nice. So a good drive, but it's really hard to come from all the way back there and win. But yeah, no, power unit issues continue for Leclerc and the Ferrari. But Max Verstappen, he won again.
There we go.
Shocking.
Unbelievable. The guy's a machine, man.
5th
the guy
win.
is a machine.
5th win in the last 6 races.
Ooh.
And I will say it got pretty interesting there at a couple points in time. Carlos Sainz, the guy in the other Ferrari, gave him a pretty decent battle. That virtual safety car made some things interesting. But the Dutchman continues to dominate the sport. You'll be happy to know it's been a while. Lewis Hamilton was back on the podium, Ted. P3 for Lewis Hamilton.
All I know is I saw a headline yesterday or the day before that said Lewis Hamilton says his car sucks.
Yes. Which you're not. So he went in on the car on Friday. I mean, you're right. He basically said, "Hey, the car's terrible. It sucks." And it was funny because right after saying that, he goes out there, drives it pretty well, and even beat his teammate George Russell, who's been beating him recently. So Toto Wolff and Mercedes, they had to be pretty happy about how that all worked out for Hamilton. But yeah, they couldn't have been thrilled when he was like, "Yeah, this car sucks." It's like the best guy to ever drive in the sport. And he's,
come on, can you just say something else? Like, we're working through some issues. Do you really have to put us all on blast like that? He doesn't care, though. He'll get a ride anywhere. But that's awesome. Boy, Verstappen, a beast right now, huh? Wow.
yeah. And Red Bull, you think about, with that Perez win, they've won the last 6 Grand Prix. They're rolling.
And where was that? Was it like in Toronto?
They just kept saying Canadian. So they always refer to the track, and it's words.
So it wasn't like a downtown one. It was a track race.
I didn't even pay that close of attention. It was it was one of those things where I was playing with my son and it was kind of on in the background. And I was like, Verstappen's probably going to win. But yeah, I couldn't even lie and pretend I know where it was. It was in Canada. I know that. There you go.
Nice. That's cool.
I'm going to say it was in one of the French Canadian areas because
Quebec?
I believe the track was like a French name. Now that could also be completely wrong. You got to remember, I'm not an expert in this sport. I am in between. I am past the casual label, I would think, but I am no means like, I'm not out here talking about tire choices. Like, you got to stay on the mediums in that situation. What do we do? Like, I don't have that knowledge base just yet.
Well, doesn't really matter. Verstappen got the win. They're coming through the U.S. here pretty quick again, right? Austin's coming up. Yeah.
Austin, stuff. Massachusetts. There are a bunch of people between my age and Teddy's age that are going to get that joke.
Come on. It's time for the feeding.
Unleash the fury. All-time clip. All right. For my loser, if I'm going to feel so good for the people that know what we're talking about, because I guarantee you no one has watched that movie in a while.
I haven't. I don't think I've seen it since college. I know I haven't.
Don't even say the title, because this is the people that don't know, now they're going to have to figure it out. And the people that know, they're going to be laughing right now and appreciating this. All right. For my loser of the weekend, I thought about going with the Charlotte Hornets. I know that's kind of random, but Kenny Atkinson, he straight up said no thanks to being their next head coach. They went after him. He was the head assistant there for Steve Kerr for the Warriors, right? A lot of people think that, the way he got done and pushed out in Brooklyn was not fair, and he's very well respected. But yeah, Hornets said, "Hey man, come on," and he said, "I'm good. I'm going to stay as the assistant for the Warriors. I don't want this job." That's got to hurt.
It reminds me of one of the first scenes in Major League. How would you like to be the next manager for the Cleveland Indians? Oh, I don't know. I got another guy on the other line about some white walls. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I will say, Michael Jordan, from some of the things I've heard, players talk about, I've heard a lot of, listen to a lot of NBA podcasts and stuff. He doesn't exactly have the best organizational management skills, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe Kenny Atkinson looked at that and was like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah. Well, the NBA is, coaches make a difference. I'm not going to say that they don't, but your roster is absolutely everything. And if you don't have a couple of guys, one guy that you feel like is an all NBA type of guy and some good, solid young talent, you ain't going to win. It's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a coach and you can be selective about where you're going to go, yeah, then you're happy with what's going on. You just maybe hang around a little bit and wait for the next thing. My guess is he's also still getting paid like a head coach, right? Until he takes another head coaching job. It's usually how it works, is they have to make up the difference between what you're doing now and where you were being paid previously. So can't blame him.
Yeah. Maybe he's not a big LaMelo guy. Who knows? Maybe he's like, LaMelo Ball, that's the face of the franchise. No, I'm good, man. Thanks. But my loser of the weekend, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Eesh.
I mean, oh my goodness.
Okay, Avs. Woo.
I hope you guys have tuned in to the Stanley Cup Final. Game 1, awesome. Overtime thriller, fantastic. Game 2, not so much. The Colorado Avalanche destroyed the Tampa Bay Lightning 7-0. 7-0 against Vasilevsky, who, from everything I can tell, is the best goalie on the planet. And they came out fast, 3-0 in the first. And I feel like whether it's hockey or basketball or even football, like in the playoffs, especially, in the NBA Finals, Super Bowl, whatever, when one team kind of gets punched in the face, right, there is like this reaction, then things kind of stabilize and it turns into like a back and forth, right? Even if, you're not all able to make the complete comeback, like it's the two best teams, like normally it like stabilizes and you start seeing the game even out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That did not happen in this game.
No, I think one of the things, and as I watch hockey, don't know, I know enough about it to watch it and know what's happening, but it's hard to tell on television, like strategically what's going on. But whenever you go down 3-0, you have to like start to get really aggressive, and it leaves you open big time for giving up some goals. And I'm guessing that's probably what went down. Because I know, it looks like they're just doing the same thing the entire time, right? But I know that the way that they play some of their defense and how aggressive they are has a lot to do with kind of what's happening with the score. And they probably had to end up getting way more aggressive than they're used to, and it bit them.
Do you think they always talk about 2-0 being like the worst lead in hockey? Like it's a dangerous situation to be in when you're up 2-0. Do you think Tampa Bay was like, down 2-0, got them right where we want them, and then the Avalanche scored again, and they're like, not good. Like it was a beatdown, and I don't know anything about hockey, right? I know the rules from playing video games and watching enough hockey, but I don't have any concept of like the X's and O's really and how all that works. But I do know that if you shoot the puck 30 times, if you have 30 shots and your opponent only has 16, you've got a better chance at winning.
Yeah.
And I just watching and not knowing really what's going on from a strategy perspective, I can tell you the Avalanche, they look like a much faster team. Their players are moving faster than the guys from Tampa. I don't know much, Ted, but I know that.
Well, speed kills. And if you're giving up speed out there, it's hard to flip the switch and make it up there. And I don't know. I'm sure they'll have some answers strategically on how to put themselves in a better spot, but it better start happening pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I will say this, the Kroenke family having a pretty good run, right?
We're on a
Because
roll
remember,
right now.
They own the Rams, won the Super Bowl. They own the Avalanche, looking like they're going to win the Stanley Cup. Also, and this is a deep cut, people, The National Lacrosse League, the Colorado Mammoth, just won the NLL title on Saturday. Guess who owns them?
Kroenke?
Kroenke. Family's rolling, man. Having a good sports stretch here, the old Kroenkes.
How much do you know about lacrosse?
Fun fact, I am on the National Lacrosse League Board of Governors, excuse me. Yeah, that happened a couple months ago. I don't talk about it a lot.
All right. But you didn't answer my question. How much do you know about?
I know the rules of that league and how it operates.
All right, good. That's awesome. I know it's growing. I know there's a lot of people that are into it. Still not a lot from around here, but I think it's even growing around here locally, isn't it, to some degree? And there's some like good club teams and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's grown quite a bit in like Edmond. I think Edmond's got a pretty solid league, but I will say it is growing rapidly, especially DFW, like the DFW area. It's just taking off, and it's fun to watch, whether you're watching box lacrosse or, have you watched any of that PLL, the Premier Lacrosse League?
I don't know if I've seen. I watched a little bit of something that was on ESPN maybe last weekend.
Was it indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Okay, so yeah,
I feel like it may have been like the NCAA championship.
Oh well, the NCAA that's a big deal too. ESPN carries that.
I think that's what I was watching. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I know it's growing. I think it took like a lot of people, at least at one point, people were saying that it was because of the concussion football thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, it is fun to watch. I enjoy it.